What's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to work on a couple minor things. We're going to see if we can manually adjust this front headlight, possibly even take the headlight out to see if we have a broken wire for the automatic leveling in the headlight itself, the motor. And I think we're going to take apart the trunk just a little bit to see if we have broken tabs on the diaphragm that operate the push button open. I've had several people tell me that that's what I need to be looking at, and a lot of times you can fix it with a zip tie or a hose clamp. So I know that's a temporary fix, but it's a fix nonetheless, and I'll take it because, as I said before, we are really working on a budget on this build. So we're going to do everything we can to do it on a budget, but to do it so that it actually lasts a long term. And I don't see why a hose clamp or a zip tie wouldn't. I've used them for all kinds of things in the past. The main thing I want to focus on with this headlight is see if there's a broken wire, because the headlight is angled straight down at the ground and it just sits there. There is a manual adjustment screw. We're going to have to find that, and if we can't find a broken wire for the motor, then we're just going to manually adjust that headlight up, and that'll be a temporary fix until we can get a new headlight assembly, which is not at the top of my priority list. Let's get started. Alright, so here's the headlight we're going to be working on the driver's side. We've got an 8mm here, we've got an 8mm over here, and then we've got a 10mm right here and a 10 on the other side of the bumper that helps give the bumper a little bit of leeway, so you can pull this headlight out. We can actually have a better look at it. So we'll pull these 10s off the bumper first. This will allow the bumper to flex a little bit easier to get this headlight out. And we'll switch sockets to the 10mm. I mean the 8mm, I apologize. And if we're lucky, we may just find there to be a broken wire for the motor under here. So to get this off, we've got to kind of pull this bumper back, grab the headlight, lift it up over the lip, and then you pull it straight out. There we go. And when you do this, you've got to disconnect the wires that are behind it. Let's see if we can find those plugs real quick. These are used headlights. These have been replaced, it appears. And first thing I notice on the bottom is a ton of rusty corrosion on the ballast. Alright, so I don't see anything wrong with the wiring. It's one of the first things I wanted to check was these connectors to see if there's any corrosion or any broken wires. And I've looked all through here and down here, and I don't see any signs of broken wires, so I don't see any corrosion either. But it never hurts to hit these connectors with some CRC electrical cleaner. Get down in there and really hit it. This is quick drying formula. I've also already hit the headlights with it. And maybe we'll get lucky and it was nothing more than just a bad connection. Although I'm pretty certain the motor is bad. So if we see that the motor is still not functioning, we're going to have to adjust it by hand, because it's just not safe to drive around at night when you cannot see out of one side of your car. Alright, now getting it in can be a little tricky. There's a ball and socket. Yeah, getting it in can be real tricky. You gotta kind of angle this side down. You gotta get that ball and socket lined up. And you got to pull this bumper back to get the headlight back under where it belongs. This can be a whole lot of fun, let me tell you. All right. It took a little bit of finessing. Nevertheless, looks like we got her back in. I'm gonna get these. Uh-oh. Good thing I have a big magnet. I just dropped one of the bolts. I have a really big magnet. I'm gonna fish that sucker out from the radiator. Just like that. And we will tighten these bolts back down on the headlight assembly. Put the tin back on. Now from here, we can hope everything works and we can be done with this. All right, so unfortunately, but as expected, that did absolutely no good whatsoever. We still have a P1480 or a B1480, I believe it is, for the body control module, which is a open or short circuit in the leveling motor of the driver's side headlight. So what I'm gonna do is take this big screwdriver and just start turning. There's one adjusting screw right here. And I'm just going to start moving it until I see the headlight starting to come up to where it's no longer sitting on the ground. And I actually have it shining at my washing machine so I can compare this light to the others. When I move it this way, it adjusts. There we go. This way is the right way to go. We're getting better. All right. That's about as level as I'm going to be able to get it by hand. I'll show you where that adjustment screw is real quick. So here is the top of your headlight assembly, and your adjustment screw is right here where this little groove is. We'll zoom in. And while I'm sure it's difficult to see, it's right here. You can use a flathead screwdriver to adjust that. All right, so to get started, we're going to grab us some Torx heads. I'm going to grab a T25 and a T20 because I'm not entirely sure which one goes to what. So let's find out real quick. Looks like we've got 1, 2, 3. It's not a T25. It is a T20. So we're going to pop these off real quick. Definitely see these have been off before. Pull this cover off right here, and we will pull that connector off right there. Next, we're going to want to pop this out. Trying to do this gently. There we go. There we go. Okay. We did break, looks like 2 clips. That's fine. Next thing we need to be looking for are a couple of screws, which I believe are these right here, that hold this whole assembly into place. So we're going to want to take these bolts out here, and they are going to be a size T30. Break them loose. We'll just pop these out real quick. And we'll put them back where we can see the paint scuffs. Give us a pretty good idea of where they go. So we're going to try to remove this whole assembly here. And I'm hoping it comes out relatively easily. There is a little piece up here that we got to pop out, it would seem. It's a pretty big unit. That's what she said. All right, here we go. Here is the entire unit for this trunk. Now, what tends to happen is, oh, look at that, it worked. I'll show you real quick what we got. All right, what we've got here is a broken diaphragm. This is what keeps pressure on the air. I'm probably explaining it wrong, but this is broken. All right, there's supposed to be tabs that lock this in place, and they are all missing. It causes this piece to be loose, and it lets air escape. So what we've got to do is we've got to lock this sucker back down so that we don't have that problem. And when we put it back, it should be good as new, at least temporarily. So what I'm going to do is the same thing I've seen other YouTubers do in an attempt to fix this, and that is wrap some zip ties around it. And from what I've seen, this is actually a pretty good fix. I know it probably doesn't sound like a good way of doing things, but I'll say this, it beats the thing not working at all. All right, now we're going to push the button. And hopefully you can see the plunger that just came out right here. Zoom in on it for you. All right, so we're going to push this button, which releases the trunk, and you're going to see a plunger pop out of here, hopefully. It's probably difficult to see, but there you go. You'll see it close right there. So it looks like the trunk release is functioning. So let's put it back together and give it a try. Well, this is interesting. It's trying to open on its own. Now, if these shocks up here were good, then it would open on its own, but since they're not, and you can see it's trying to close. Look at that. It just opened on its own. Oh. Okay. Apparently the hydraulic pump under here started working, because now it's trying to, it's not wanting me to open it. Okay, here we go. All right, it's open. And it's holding itself. Now, we'll go ahead and close it. Looks like the soft close actually worked on it this time. Let's try the remote trunk release. We will push the remote trunk release, which is right here. Oh, looky there. And it's opening on its own. How about that? The trunk opens and closes itself. We'll hold the trunk release button again and see if it closes itself. I don't know. Now, I guess you gotta push the button on the top of the trunk to close it. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it one more time. Are you kidding me? Okay, there we go. Maybe I didn't hold it long enough. And then you push the little button in the trunk, and she closes herself right back down for you. So, looks like we got another issue fixed on the S600 for free. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. Sorry for the shoddy video quality right now. This camera is just doing horrible in these low light conditions at the moment. But thanks for watching. We actually accomplished something today. We accomplished a couple things. I wish we could have got the headlight motor to work, but, you know, I knew that was probably not going to happen anyway, so we need to replace the headlight. Big deal. We got it aligned a little bit better. That helps. The trunk, that's another big one. I mean, I know it's not a huge deal, but I mean, seriously, if you got groceries or something, you want to be able to push the trunk button. I don't care if it opens itself, but it's nice to be able to just push the button and open your trunk. But to be able to hold down that button and the trunk open and then push it, oh, come on. For 2001, that is pretty damn cool in my opinion. So, you know, another fix done for free, and that has been a really good thing lately. We've been able to get a lot done at no cost. So, you know, a penny saved is a penny earned, right? Some of you may not know what that means, but hopefully some of you do. I know what it means. I am out of here, folks. If you thought the video content was great, give it a thumbs up. If you thought it sucked, give it a thumbs down. Don't forget to check out my merchandise store so you get some of these awesome t-shirts. Yeah, don't have the hats available. The shirts are available. Stay safe out there, everybody. I will catch you soon in the next one.